Hi, I'm Nixon from Eagle Lake Woodworking, and in this video I'm going to show you how I made this keepsake box. Some of the features include dovetail construction, an arch top lid, and a place to put a picture behind glass on the inside of the lid. The hardware includes a lid support hinge as well as a full mortise lock set. Let me show you how it's made. To help shape the top, I need to make a semicircle. I'll do this on the router table using the motorized router lift. I have a gauge in my miter slot that has a pivot that I'm securing the board to. With the foot pedal, I raise the spinning bit up into the workpiece and eventually cut a circle after many passes. I'm going to dissect this circle down the center, making two semicircles. Next, I transfer the shape of the semicircle to the end of the top. I've outlined it in chalk here for you to see. I'll remove most of the material on the table saw using my angled tenon jig. Finish out those cuts with a handsaw. You can see we're pretty close to a roughed out shape of that arch. I attach cleats to both semicircles that will support the lid during the routing operation. I secure the lid to the semicircles using double-sided tape and a brad in each end. I've installed a plunge cut straight bit into the router table, and it's about 1/4 of an inch above the table. Using a back and forth motion as well as side to side, I rough out the shape of the arch. You can see the arch starting to take shape. Clean up in between, keep going in this manner. I clean up and smooth out the arch on the horizontal belt sander. After quite a bit of sanding, we get a nice smooth, gentle curve that will look great on the top of our box. I'll trim the lid to the exact same width as the box on the table saw. I mark for biscuits that will be cut into the top side of the box as well as the bottom side of the lid. Before gluing the lid to the box, I line the inside with masking tape. Again, clean all the joints with acetone, and I apply yellow glue to the biscuits and the top side of the box. The biscuits help keep everything aligned during glue up. I add a few clamps to apply decent pressure between the arch top and the box. After this assembly dries, I move over to the horizontal belt sander and flush up all 4 sides. Next, I use a random orbital sander and move through 3 grits, starting at 100, 150, and finally 220 to finish sand all sides of the box. Now it's time to cut the lid off the box. I've set the fence so that the lid that remains will have a place for the picture to be recessed inside of it. Before I cut off the last side, I'll put a piece of masking tape there just to prevent the lid from falling as I make the last pass. You can see we've got a nice deep frame to recess the picture inside the lid. I true up the face of the lid and the box so we get a really tight seal between the two. I've wiped down the box with mineral spirits, and you can see the seam is almost indetectable. Now it's time to mount the lid to the box. Here's a view of the support hinge that we're going to be using. It needs to be mortised into the top of the box in an L shape. It's a little bit wider than 1/4 of an inch, so I used 2 cardboard spacers to make the second pass. With the first portion of the mortise cut, it's time to make the second part. And I'll do this in the same way with a straight bit and a stop block on the router table. That's a great match. The hinge fits into the mortise perfectly. The support arm on the lid support hinge needs to have a place to go inside the wall of the box. I create a cavity using a hand drill. After drilling pilot holes, I secure the hinge to the box using super glue and screws. With the lid propped into place, I can drill pilot holes and then add the support arm and secure it using a couple of dabs of super glue and screws. Before I apply finish to the box, I'll add my maker's mark to the bottom. I'm going over the box with a tack cloth now to remove any dust. The finish is simple. We're using a Tung oil finish that's applied directly to the wood with a foam brush, and then the excess is wiped off with a clean rag. I apply finish to the inside of the lid as well as the inside of the box using the same method. This Tung oil finish is great. It really highlights the unique grain of the Cocobolo and gives it a warm, rich glow. I made these little 45-degree wedges that will hold the glass inside the lid. Here's how I installed the picture. First, a piece of black construction paper, and then the picture, and finally the glass. It's all held in place by those little wedges that get screwed into each corner. This box has a lot of really nice features. From the outside, your eye's drawn to the book match panels, and on the inside, the opportunity to frame a special photo. The dovetails and the arch-top lid really set this box apart. The smooth finish and contrasting grain of the Cocobolo invite you to touch the box. Well, that does it for the Keepsake box. I hope you've enjoyed seeing how I constructed it and think about making one for yourself. It's a very satisfying project, and I'm sure if you give it as a gift, any recipient will love the personal touch of the picture on the inside of the lid. To view the rest of the videos in this series or videos on other woodworking topics, visit eaglelakewoodworking.com and click on the videos link. You can even sign up to be notified when new videos become available.